Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight TV Edition. I am Peter, that is Tim, and we are working our way through Tales from the Crypt, the original HBO anthology show. It's going to be Season 5, Episode 4. It's called Food for Thought. So, full spoilers for the episode as always. We are back. We took a couple of weeks off for Christmas and New Year's. So, Happy New Year. We're back into the cold, cold days of January, but without the Christmas time to look forward to. This is a depressing part of the winter. Because I feel like in December when it's getting really cold and it's kind of miserable, you're looking forward to the holidays. You've got that sort of bright light in front of you. January, February is just depressing.
Yeah, pretty much. Most of the movies aren't great. You slowly start to realize your resolutions are not going to be fulfilled.
And January, February, Tim, you're not doing very well.
I give up pretty easily. Yeah, it's not the best time of year.
Yeah, and for those of us who are single, you get to February and it's just all capped up with Valentine's Day to shove that in your face. So you're emotionally depressed on top of just physically being depressed with a cold. So you just, this is a shitty time of year. That's just all it is. And as you said, January movies are rough things indeed. I mean, February's starting to look a bit brighter because, you can, like Marvel are putting a movie out in February this year. So, I mean, that has to be not terrible at the very least.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. But yeah, so let's talk about the episode. So what is the episode this week? Food for thought. It stars Ernie Hudson and it stars Joan Chen, who you've been watching Twin Peaks just now, so I assume you recognise Josie here. But yeah, so we get her and Ernie Hudson, of course from Ghostbusters, in case you're not familiar with who Ernie Hudson is. And they're in an abusive relationship. They're a married couple at a travelling show, a circus or something like that, yeah. And she can read his mind, but he can't read hers, and he wants to be able to read hers. And she's not very happy being around him. He's very controlling. She seems to have the hots for the lion tamer. Oh, the lion tamer, sorry. It's not a lion, it's a gorilla.
It's like a fire breather or something?
Yeah, he's a fire breather, but I don't think he's actually related to the gorilla, but he seems to just be affectionate towards the gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a fire breather. He does the swallowing, the fire, and all the rest of it. So you got a bit of a love triangle. You've got this jealous Ernie Hudson, and that's pretty much the episode. I will be shocked if we last 10 minutes on this, Tim. And I feel like I know what you're going to say to this question, so I'm looking forward to the response. Did you enjoy this episode, Timmy?
Maybe a few bits and pieces here, but overall, this episode sucked.
This was garbage, Tim. That was way more positive than I was expecting. This was the only good thing about this episode, other than liking a couple of cast members, was it was mercifully short.
True. Yeah.
At 24 minutes, it was a mercy killing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be really hard for me to be super negative about anything that has a gorilla in it.
To be fair here, a really fake-looking gorilla. It's a guy in a suit. That's
yeah, it's one of the fakest looking gorillas I've ever seen. But yeah, I mean, that gave me like a little bit of joy, and it sucks to the cast was pretty good in this, but yeah, they really didn't have much to do.
No,
I like Ernie Hudson, but he's super unlikable and actually pretty gross.
He is gross. He keeps eating and he's like slobbering all over his face. His hands are all sticky. At one point, he forces her to give him a blowjob at one point early on. But as he's doing it, he's still like eating food, and he's got like you can see like the greasiness of all the ribs he's been eating down the side of his face.
And it's super gross because he always also has like clown makeup on his face. But
I was actually calling it the Ultimate Warrior makeup because it was just kind of the eyes, and it was like had that kind of look to it. But yeah,
but yeah, like it looks gross because it's like clown makeup, but it's kind of like it looks like old faded kind of makeup, and then mixed with like food and grease stuff on it. It is really gross. It actually reminded me of like Rob Zombie-ish aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm shocked how little plot there actually is in this.
Oh sure, yeah.
Because all it boils down to is she has the hots for the much nicer fire guy, and when she actually does have a moment with him, Ernie Hudson thinks he's finally hearing her thoughts, but he's hearing, oh, Johnny, oh, this, like he's hearing happy sex thoughts, and he's like, oh, what's this? And he's really controlling. And then he goes and kills the fire tamer guy, the fire breather, and then
kills her in front of the gorilla, or kills him in front of the gorilla.
And then Josie from Twin Peaks just packs her bags and leaves as quickly as possible. There's a couple of random bits where the little guy, I recognise the actor actually, Phil Fondacaro.
Yeah,
he's popped up in a lot of things. Yeah, he's one of those faces. I think now you expect what's the guy from Life's Too Short? Yeah, Warwick Davis. I feel like now when it's ever a little person, I expect to see him. But I think there was a time when it was always him that was the little person in movies and TV shows. But he's got the hots for the conjoined twins, who we have this random shower scene where they're topless and like touch each other's boobs. It's weird.
They're connected by the boob.
Yeah, but they're not really connected though. It's makeup, so it's a really weird scene. Just imagine being directed right now. You want to fondle your sister's boob right now. That was the scene, and the little guy's like sneaks in and he's getting a peek, and that's the scene. That's the whole thing. But yeah, so she packs her bags and leaves, and then the big twist at the end of the episode is that the thoughts that Ernie Hudson thought he was hearing is Josie. Her name's Connie, but I'm calling her Josie from Twin Peaks. Actually was the gorilla, and the gorilla is mad that he killed the fire guy and comes in and murders him at the end. And why the gorilla needs a meat cleaver to kill him, I'm not sure. It's a gorilla. You got the strength to do it, honey. You can go for it. But
that's super weird. But like, I don't know, I feel like there's a little nut of an idea in here that I like, which like I like the idea of someone reading minds and then not realizing they're actually reading the minds of the gorilla, and then like I think that's kind of a cool idea. But yeah, it's kind of mired in this episode where not much else happens, and the stuff that does happen is really gross and annoying. Because
for the first, like, I don't want to say half, but a good 8 minutes maybe of the episode, he's disgusting, he's controlling of his wife, she's clearly miserable, and then you see a bit of their act where she's reading his mind, so she's guessing what he's looking at, the Bible verse that he gets out, the audience are very happy. And then when she goes out backstage and she sees the fire guy and she looks at him, I'm like, oh god, it's a love triangle. Like, I was already bored, I was already like thoroughly like just uninterested in everything that was going on, and then is a love triangle on top of it, and I'm like, oh god, this is just a stinker already. I can't believe this came after the last one. This is like 2 outright stinkers in a row. I'm scared for the rest of this season, Timmy, after these 2 in a row. Oh dear.
It's really strange to me too, because like, why does he think that he should have this ability? Like, it's cool that she can read minds, but why is he like, well, I should be able to do it too? Like, it's not like that's a skill that you can learn or like also, somehow master.
Maybe this was more clear to you, but I didn't really understand if she could only read his mind or if she could read anyone's
I had no
mind.
idea.
Yeah. It seemed like it was just his, which, I mean, maybe it is his power in the first place, where he can just kind of project his thoughts. But then at the start of the episode, he's complaining to her that she's not teaching him how to do it properly, so maybe not. Maybe it is her that's doing it. I don't know. Nothing in this episode makes a lot of sense. Characters are not particularly likable.
I will say the early on the scene where Ernie Hudson is, I guess you would say maybe like seductively licking his plate, I thought was one of the grossest things we've seen in this series to date.
It was disgusting. Because he's eating, it's like liver, and he pours like brandy on it or something, and he's like licking his fingers constantly. Oh yeah, it's just kind of revolting.
Yeah, he's just the way he's kind of like, he's just like rubbing like.
And again,
all over
he's still doing this as he's receiving oral sex.
Yeah, it was
just from the perspective of a man, right? I can't imagine something worse than trying to enjoy said oral sex whilst feeling like I've got like the grease from like meat all over my face. I'm like, no, I need to go wash my face. I need to be comfortable. I'm not comfortable like that.
Yeah, again, it's just really gross, and again, it's not in the cool kind of horror way that you like or want something to be gross. It's in like that gross Rob Zombie way where it's like you just want everyone to take a bath.
Here's a question, because you get these people who are like have like these fetishes with food where they like to like eat during sex, and I just don't get it. I was like, no. If there's one thing
Unless you really need to save time, I think.
not. I mean, not that I think I'm particularly sexy in the best of times, but if there's one time where I definitely don't feel sexy, it's when I've got like sauce at the side of my mouth and I'm like feeling like I need to, walk it off. Like, oh, I've just eaten it. Let me pass some wind before I get going. Like, no. All of it was just kind of revolting. I want no part of it. I never noticed him in the episode, but apparently Doug Jones had a small part, and I thought you'd like to know that.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that, too.
He's that's awesome. Contortionist, which I vaguely remember seeing a contortionist, but I never recognised him. I mean,
they had, like, no one else had anything to do. Yeah, like, the most you could say is the conjoined twins and the little person, like, but, yeah, they probably had, like, 2 minutes of screen time. Yeah,
they were just kind of... That's the strange thing. They were padding in an episode that was already only 24 minutes. There was, like, 4 or 5 minutes of padding.
And I think what you really, I mean, if we're going to play script doctors here for a little bit, like I think what you really need to do is, have, more of Ernie Hudson, starting to hear like, these voices and not realizing like, what's going on. And what I thought, and because I think I've seen this one before, so I vaguely remembered something about it ending with, the gorilla being in his head or whatever. But so I was thinking like, oh, like, he murders the fire breather, and then, he should start hearing these voices saying like, it was you did it. Like, I'm going to tell everybody, like, you're like, and then starting to get, show him getting paranoid and being like, oh, like, who knows my secret? What is, who else do I have to kill to silence them or something? Like, something like that I think could have been an entertaining or interesting episode. And then,
does he kill like 3 or 4 people before the gorilla reveals herself? Yeah, I mean, like, the thing.
I don't know, but yeah, this was just really missed opportunity.
I have a question. Why are both the opening and closing Cryptkeeper segments a dentist-themed thing? They were doing so well. I remember back in like season 3, we complained that for a long time they didn't seem to have anything to do with the episode. They just seemed random. And for about a season and a half, they have been so on point. They've been so related to the plot of the episode, for better or worse. And then this one is a dentist for some reason.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, it's even if it had like something to do with like a, if the episode was like something to do with a doctor or something, maybe like you could make a loose connection. But yeah, there isn't really much here.
Or even just about teeth, like, or something that bites. So I'll maybe accept it. But I guess the gorilla maybe bites him.
But you could have like easily had something like the Cryptkeeper could have been a circus performer, or animal trainer or something. Like, there's lots of stuff you could have done that would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know. Again, it just makes me wonder if they just have like a certain amount of props and sets that they kind of just film everything at once and say, all right, let's hope that these will line up or fit in some way.
We don't have an idea for this one. Let's just do a dentist bit.
Yeah,
okay, sure. I think what bothers me, see if it was just a generic thing where the joke was kind of broad, I'd be fine with it. But it's so specific. There's a dentist chair. He's making dentist jokes. He's got the little, the headpiece on. He's doing all this really specific. They went out of their way to create a dentist thing, and there is nothing to do with that in the entire episode. It's so strange. I don't get it, but whatever. Well, we passed 10 minutes, Tim. Apparently, there was enough to be annoyed about that we breezed past it. So,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the past, like I don't know. I feel like the last couple of seasons were off to a rocky start, and then they got good in the middle. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Who knows?
Although that's the finale of last season was also one of the worst episodes ever. So I guess they peak in the middle and then they nosedive again at the end. Apparently, that seems to be a trend that we've been having.
Oh boy.
But hey ho, so that is episode 4, season 5. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments if you've seen it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and the show and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You get these a week early if you do, these Tales from the Crypt reviews. You also get some of the episodes of Screams After Midnight proper now, early as well. That's a new thing that was just added in the new year. So, but otherwise that's us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching Scary TV, and we'll see you next time.